everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mice, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com. You can find cool stuff in stock every day, and check out our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory, prices, delivery of cards for Magic Online. And finally, check out our new Alter Sleeves. Get your custom sleeve image of the Magic Mice crew at altersleeves.com/magicmics. I'm Evan Irwin. How you guys doing? There's Ruben's altar sleeve right over there.
That's right.
And we begin each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell.
How's it going, everybody?
Ruben Bressler.
What's up? Happy Thursday, everybody.
Ooh, the first time in like 5 years, 6 years?
It's been a long time
five-ish?
since we haven't been doing Wednesday shows.
We've done like casual Thursdays, like if just
Every
if
once in a
something,
while.
if there's been like a technical issue or one of us has had to reschedule or something, but just having it be a regular Thursday, this is the first.
This is our new night, everybody, and that's going
Our
to be
first day.
super sweet. Yeah, and we can
Nope,
announce
that
that
joke didn't work.
we are going to have, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but we are going to have a Strixhaven preview here on Thursday,
right.
April 1st.
Yeah.
They will
Not
be
a
here.
joke, not an April Fool's.
A real
We're gonna
deal.
have a preview card.
And it's a pretty sweet one, so we get to check
it's
that
the
out.
card I've got my eye on.
It's pretty interesting. I am excited to talk about it because it is a weirdo.
Absolutely. Now, we also begin with our first pick and the giveaway. Get your chance at a $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com by typing !raffle in the chat, but subscribe first to get 2 chances to win. And don't forget our raid at the end of the show to support a member of the community. Enter your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we might raid tonight. All right, so we get started with our first pick, and the first pick we get to match up with Wizards today. Woo!
Yeah.
Wizards likes to release some big info on Thursdays, and we get to talk about it, everybody. Today was the Strixhaven School of Mages previews and more in 2021. So we've got all sorts of new products coming. Strixhaven, of course, being the first one, March 25th, being the preview kickoff. Again, the week after that, it's going to be our preview, which is going to be awesome. April 15th, Strixhaven School of Mages release on Magic Arena and Magic Online. That's going to come. That'll be here before you know it, I assure you. We're already a third of the way almost through the year or whatever, or a fourth of the way rather. April 16th through 22nd is pre-release week, and April 23rd, Strixhaven School of Mages and Commander 2021 edition is tabletop releasing. So remember, along with Strixhaven is this year's Commander, but they haven't really talked that much about the Commander product that's coming as well.
Does that mean we're going to have another awkward preview season where you won't know if the cards are for the standard legal set or for the Commander set like they did with Ikoria? That was such a problem.
That's going to hopefully not be as big a problem this time
we aren't going to
around.
know if Tree Shaker Chimera is going to be in booster packs or not until we open booster packs. Yeah, that's always annoying. But the fact that we get a bunch of information is nice, and some of that information being that. Oh well, I'll take the good. I'll take the bad if I can get mostly the good, which is what we got.
And then you have the facts of life.
That's right. So as we move on here through the releases, of course, for 2021, Modern Horizons 2 is coming. God help us. It's the follow-up to 2019's Modern Horizons and our second straight-to-modern set, they say. It brings a host of powerful new toolbox cards and strong themes to try out.
We're still recovering from the last
delightful
round.
throwbacks.
Okay, over-under, everybody. Likelihood, Aaron says this set is trash.
No.
Has
I think
absolutely no
I
modern
will never live
playables.
that
No
down.
way.
I famously said last year, and I was wrong. You heard it here first.
I begged you to
famously
reconsider. I
said
begged
last
you.
year that it was just a Commander Legends set, and I had no idea the impact that these cards would have, and continue to have on multiple formats. And it's funny that they address that. They say this time around, we wanted to delight players excited by higher power level and greater complexity with even more of what they loved in Modern Horizons.
Oh,
like,
God.
great.
Sure.
No, Wizards, please.
Lean into
my
it.
God,
It sold well, right?
I mean,
There's a full range of products, y'all. Draft boosters, set boosters, collector boosters.
and
God
a
help
pre-release
us.
of Modern Horizons. I wonder what that's going to cost, because these packs are expensive. So
Yeah.
like, what's
yeah.
a pre-release going to cost?
Yeah, special frame treatments may show up there. Maybe there's foils that show up in a unique, different way to, basically entice you to get these cards beyond a standard set. Now, this is also an experiment, right? They've never done a pre-release for a non-standard set.
Right.
as long as I can remember. So, like, I think since ever. So this is the first.
The last pre-release that I can think of for a non-standard.
You're talking like an unset or something?
Unset.
They did some unset drafting.
Unstable had a pre-release, but that doesn't really count. Like, this is a much different animal.
Right. This is testing the waters. There's a question of, who's going to the pre-release events? Why do they go to the pre-release events? Are they going there just to get cards? Are they going there because they want to play standard? Are they going there because they want to play with limited with a set? Is this, which of these is it supposed to be for Modern Horizons 2? They'll get to have some of that information. I think this is a really cool idea. Even if it doesn't work, it would be nice to know that it doesn't work. Right? Like, if Modern Horizons just won't appeal to somebody in a pre-release format, whereas I think I would probably really enjoy that, right? You're there to play some limited. It's going to be sweet. You get a foil rare out of it, guaranteed. Cards should be totally dope. I'm digging it. Yeah. All right, so we move on here past God knows what those collector boosters are going to cost.
Real quick, I want to talk about the set symbols, because those are the big featured things in the article. I love the owl. What is happening in the Modern Horizons 2 set symbol? Exactly.
It's like a hybrid of the first one, which was like a weird thing. I don't know.
I'm sitting this one out.
It's a. You know what? We don't look
Aaron,
at it, but the Strixhaven Owl is dope, and we can all agree on that.
Strixhaven Owl is dope, and the Dungeons and Dragons dragon is also dope.
It's very nice. Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, aka no core set this year, releasing on July 16th, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be really interesting. Mixed with the tropes and tools of Dungeons and Dragons for a flavorful and mechanically unique experience for players. Ruben, are they going to embrace like a D20 or a D6 type theme in this one?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, among the things that they could borrow from Dungeons & Dragons are, you're right, using dice as something outside of an unset, which they've never really done before. They could do things like granting what we call advantage in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, of like you get to flip multiple coins or do multiple things like that. My hunch is that they're going to stick much closer to the Magic archetypes, the Magic, like party, for example, the ability from Zendikar. They're going to stick and do things much more like that, translating it much more into the language of Magic, because in the opposite direction they've done the same thing. The guidebooks for Theros and for Ravnica, they don't use the colors, right? They don't talk about the mana system in any way in those guidebooks, and so I think the two games will stay in their lanes. We'll still get a Beholder card, right? Like, we're getting
Magic Missile,
Candlekeep,
right?
Legendary. Yeah, we'll still get Magic Missile, exactly.
Right. That better be the default red removal spell of the set. That's all I'm saying.
Could be a blue removal spell, but I think red is I think they're going to lean into the tropes more than into trying to cross over the abilities.
Sure. All right. Well, moving on. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier I think it was sometime last year when they said, hey, here's all of our 2021 stuff. They said, we're doing 2 Innistrad sets. One is clearly about werewolves. One's clearly about vampires. We're not sure what they're going to be called. Well, today we got the answer. Innistrad Midnight Hunt is first, releasing September 17th, and Innistrad Crimson Vow releases November 19th. Are these 2 large sets? Are these 2 small sets? Are these 2 medium-sized sets? We're not sure, and they're not saying yet, but this is certainly an extra set, quote unquote, more than we get on average.
The biggest vampire wedding in Innistrad history. Who do we think it's going to be? Is it going to be?
Yeah, interesting.
I think didn't somebody say? I think was it Gavin who came out and said it's not Olivia and
it's Markov, right?
Can't be Soren.
Yeah, not Soren.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know who it would be. But yeah, that's interesting. And marrying of the families is very, and having that political aspect for the vampires is very interesting.
Innistrad. So, and especially it'll be nice to see what Innistrad is like after Emrakul, because Emrakul is still in the moon too. And so I wonder if she's going to be felt in any way, or if they're just going to completely leave her in there for the whole time, or maybe she'll pop out of the wedding cake. We don't know, but I'm excited.
I do also like that, we've been to Innistrad twice and we got to see some cool stuff, and we know that there's like zombies there and there's humans there, but we all know what we're coming to see when we're going to Innistrad. We want werewolves and we want vampires, and I'm glad that they leaned into that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, they leaned in really hardcore there. And so Townsfolk Remastered is coming out right now. I would highly suggest it. If you can afford it, buy a box, and if you get the buy a box promo, even better, even sweeter. But get that box, just chuck it in the closet, ladies and gentlemen, because the birdies are chirping, and the birdies say there ain't no reprints coming. This is all that's out there is out there, sold out at the distributor level. There ain't gonna be no more. Those old frame cards are gonna be insane. Like the EV on boxes is ridiculous. Literally, if you just bought 36 packs of one old bordered card per pack, that's all that was in there. 36 one card packs. It would be worth it to buy a booster box. These things are ridiculous, and you need to get you some before they all gone and stupid expensive.
I wasn't going to buy one, and then when my local game store had some last night for $180, and I had sent Evan a message, and I was like, so $180. I just mentioned it in passing. I was like, so Evan, my LGS has them, and he's like, you need to go get one. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, I've got a nice stimmy coming. I have a good tax return coming. I still have some money left over for my annual bonus, and so I treated myself to 2 boxes. I have 2 boxes of Time Spiral Remastered, and then I spent today getting the digital cards that I needed. I got a play set of Amalgam, Stinkweed, Hollow One, Leyline, and 1 Chalice of the Void for Magic Online. So, so I'm completely good on a Magic Online level, and then I picked up 2 boxes for myself, and so
did you get the Lotus Blooms with them?
I don't know. I didn't really.
It's likely that you did if you bought them through your local store. But
sure.
A, if you did, fantastic. B, if you didn't, that's still okay. Bonus. You still made out like a bandit because 180 is an amazing
a very low number for the set.
The
lowest I saw anywhere near me was about 240.
Oh wow. Yeah. My boyfriend and I are going to do. We've talked about doing an unboxing stream, which is not a euphemism. So look forward to that soon because we have a good time doing it.
Unless.
Well, I mean, this is,
that does not come with the buy a box promo.
Nice. Right. I think that Wizards may do another remastered set yearly. I would not be surprised by that. But I would also feel like it feels like the next obvious one to go to is Innistrad. But at the same time, if we're going to have 2 Innistrad sets at the end of the year, I don't want remastered, in March. So maybe we go back to
Dominaria. Well, I guess Time Spiral is our Dominaria. Yeah.
Dominaria is not old enough yet, essentially.
I don't know. I think it should be the set. I mean, one of the nice things about this set was the number of cards that were from old sets. You were able to put an Arcanist and things like that. And so, as long as they have that attention to detail, I really don't care where we go.
Look, if you were to go back and make Kamigawa Remastered, the first 2 sets were really good and limited. They were fun and limited. Like Betrayers and Champions Limited was sweet, and actually, I actually won $800 playing that format. And it was great. But like for real, that format was super dope.
Saviors was terrible,
and Saviors was trash. Like actual ruined the format. It was
just
awful.
Time Spiral cards, though. I mean, you had cards from all sorts of expansions that are just sort of bundled into this one. But,
right, because they had that bonus sheet thing they could kind of build off of, but no other set that I can think of has something sort of really like that they're not sort of already doing now, where they're doing, they later on they began to do the masterpieces and stuff like that, where they kind of only did that for Time Spiral and no other old sets around that time. And also doing something like Ravnica Remastered is tough because do you try to jam all 3, sets in there?
Yeah.
Which ones do you choose and not choose?
Do you end up with Dragon's Maze, I think. When you try to jam everything together. Yeah, I mean, I think that the bottom line is going to showcase exactly how popular or how likely another remastered set is going to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, the old hats like us are going to love Time Spiral Remastered. Obviously, the value is there. Right. So if that translates to a bottom line for Wizards of the Coast, we'll get more in the future.
Yep. So we were talking a little bit about the EV being insane. That was nuts. And we'll move on here to Gen Con, as we went here to gather the townsfolk. Yay. Gen Con looks like they're trying to make it happen. This is September 16th through 19th, and vaccinations here in the U.S. have gone nowhere but faster and faster. Suddenly, 40 and up can get them here in Orlando starting next Monday.
Evan and I both have received our first shots.
I got mine last night.
Is next week.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I live in Los Angeles County, which is one of the most complicated.
Nice. Walgreens Band-Aid.
Very good.
I'm too hairy.
Careful, it's not the pre-show. It's too much skin. I have my appointment next Wednesday. I'm in Group 1C in Los Angeles, which is one of the more complicated counties in the United States to get it all done. The rollout has been quite positive and well done thus far. There haven't been any huge spikes of the virus that we don't want to discuss too much on the show, but it seems like everything is going well and as planned as it pertains to the vaccinations of the American populace. So.
Yeah, and Gen Con seems to be taking a multi-pronged approach where they are going to have the in-person version of the event with an attendance cap, and then there is going to be a virtual Gen Con, so if you do prefer to stay at home, you can certainly enjoy the festivities that way. And they're also doing a pop-up version where smaller game stores can also offer, kind of like a satellite version of Gen Con as well. So it's really whatever you're into. One of the things that I like to say is everybody sort of has their risk budget in terms of, how much they're willing to spend risk-wise. And, for some people, the in-person might be fine for them. They might feel comfortable with that. And, some people might feel comfortable to choose one of the others, and that's okay. But it's good to know that what I've said before is that people, events like Gen Con are a beacon. And I remember last year when the beacon got snuffed out, which we'll talk about a little later, it was crushing because we looked to that to say, well, as long as Gen Con's still going, everything's going to be okay. As long as Origins is still going, these benchmarks throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And then when all of those lights got snuffed out, it really was just an indicator of how badly the year was going to go. So to even see Gen Con even entertaining the idea, whether it be capped or not, it is some optimism that we all could use right now.
Agreed. I think that the big thing that as Magic fans we are keeping an eye on is there going to be a Grand Prix Las Vegas announced? Honestly, that's the benchmark. Yeah. Because the next event back, whenever it ends up being, whatever the next event is going to be huge. Yeah. And there's one place you can put it, and it's Vegas.
Why? Yeah. I'm not sure what. I feel like you would want to have that, but I feel like there's a lot of internal forces at Wizards that'd be like, we should just do a command fest. There's no need to throw away tens of thousands of dollars instead of just getting invited to have fun, bring it in.
Whatever the event is, Magic.
I'm happy with that too, for what it's worth. I'm just saying that I'm imagining the poor sap who has to go against the executive who's saying well, you ain't had no OP in a year and we've grown by hojillions of dollars. Why do we give away $10,000 at these events at all?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Whatever comes back isn't going to be what we're used to.
Sure, but
whatever the first live Magic event with any level of competitive play or Wizards official support is going to be popular. Now, Comic-Con is still canceled. Mm-hmm. That is still not going to happen. And Gen Con is basically the next biggest thing in the nerd sphere in terms of size. So it's still, and who knows what the future looks like. If there's a spike in the next month or two, we're going to go back 3 spaces. So we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, it looks okay.
So speaking of events being okay, Japan appears to be trying to run in-store events beginning in October, which sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So there was last week there was a tweet that went out with 3 different promo cards for what's listed as a Planeswalker Championship. Google Translate, thank you. As an original program only in Japan, the 2020 autumn season will be held from October 2020 at WPN stores, which are official stores nearby nationwide. So it looks like starting from October 20th to March 2021, get a limited foil promo card that can only be attained here with Magic CS of Japan. I've seen snapshots of stores holding events, obviously people wearing masks and be careful. But again, this is another thing that shows you that we might be kind of on our way out of this, as we're seeing all of these lights start to turn back on of Gen Con and, events in different countries and promo cards. And it's just, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I can, these things, I can tell you the events that are happening right now are unsanctioned, but I do also know that they're happening. And there is, there's definitely a need out there of people wanting to get together and have an organized play. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm just saying that in the grand scheme of things, I know things have been kind of well, what if we just didn't do organized play? It just kind of pushed it that way. It's uncasual.
Japan is an island nation, and they are doing much better at control of the spread than other nations have been, and October is an eminently reasonable time frame.
There you go. So, some awful news we heard just as the pre-show was up and running. Aaron, you want to talk a little bit about a passing, unfortunately?
Yeah, so Rich Hagan tweeted something less than an hour ago that said, extremely sad to hear of the passing of the lovely Andreas Ganz, European GP regular, global road warrior, champion of GP Charlotte, and a really tremendous human. I know Andreas specifically for GP Charlotte because he won that event with Modern Ad Nauseam, which was a deck that I played for a long time until they took Simeon Spirit Guide from us. And he also dabbled in Dredge. I believe he top 8'd a GP in Japan with a really interesting red-blue version of Legacy Dredge. And so I followed him just because we had similar decks in common. He wrote really great articles and great sideboard guides. And it's just crazy to think that these grinders that we've seen around, and by all accounts are these young guys, are just kind of dying on us. I think we've seen a couple in the last year or so where it's just like, man, it's...
Now, we don't know exactly why or from what at this point.
Yeah,
and
we have no details.
40. I mean, you just look at all of this.
We have no
it's like-
details on Andreas's passing. All we have is essentially we have the one tweet from Rich. So if there is more news to share, we would share it with you. But condolences to his family and friends, and it's sad.
Wish them the best, absolutely. Let's move on here to some desperate ravings. We have a 1-year anniversary. Now, this is technically news that happened last Thursday, but we weren't on last Thursday. So, officially, a week from tonight was when everything just stopped. The SCG events were canceled. All the GP, the Magic Fest stuff were shutting down. The NRG series shut down. Everyone was like, okay. An abundance of caution was a word or a phrase we heard a whole lot there for about a month.
Yeah. Remember when they canceled on the NBA games? It was like, oh, this is real now.
Yeah, I remember. So I was supposed to go to GP Detroit. My boyfriend and I were supposed to go to GP Detroit. I still have the email confirming that I had registered. I can't bring myself to really delete it. I remember, taking that Friday off. My company had sent out an email on the 12th as well saying, if you have the ability to work from home, you should do that. So that was a very big day. And I remember, the event had been canceled and we went to our friend Andy's house. So we were supposed to go to GP Detroit with. We booked the hotel and everything. And we just played Commander at Andy's house for the night. And we were just stunned. We were surprised. I think we knew it was going to happen, but we were selfishly thinking that maybe they'd still pull it off somehow. And we just didn't know it was going to happen because that was really the start of everything. We didn't know how long this was going to last. We didn't know how serious it was going to be. We didn't know if this was going to be like a Hunger Games situation of how hard is this quarantine going to be? And so just a lot of uncertainty. And I remember us just kind of playing Commander around his kitchen table and just this days of we had this whole weekend planned out and now there's a global pandemic. How did we get here? We didn't know anything.
Yeah, we for me it was a week ago. Well, a year ago, a week ago, as it were.
Yeah, 53 weeks ago.
Yeah, where it was like, we're gonna go work home for a little while. Just a couple weeks. It'll blow over. Everything's gonna shut down. We'll make sure everything's cool. We'll get safe. We'll move on with our lives. And I'm working from home forever from now. So here we go. That's how
16 months is the time frame for pandemics, and it hasn't changed in hundreds of years.
Toilet paper. Don't ever forget.
Toilet paper shortage. Jeez.
Unbelievable. Well,
memories.
Yeah, no, memories but TCG-Con showed up.
Speaking of, whatever this is. I was like, oh, interesting. They're going to try to schedule I'm sorry, what month does that say?
Yeah, they want to happen at the end of June. And I'm like,
100 days from now? I don't think that's going to pan out.
Yeah, less than 100 days they want to run a convention, which just feels like this is, there's that sort of pent-up demand, of people wanting these shows. There's a pent-up demand of people wanting to go to these, the vendors definitely want to go and buy and sell and whatever. We understand it, but you got to give them a little bit more time. I understand they might be trying to do some of this outside or something, but it seems a little bit of a
nothing is
reach.
more comfortable than late June in Tampa.
Woo!
Outside.
I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I'm just saying it's
gross.
It's a little
June's
much.
very optimistic for anything convention-like.
Right.
Maybe late July I could see something smaller happening on this scale, but this seems like a misstep. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that they have great success.
Absolutely.
And TCG-Con cannot guarantee you will not be exposed.
Look, it's like, why?
I get it. We all have senioritis. We
want it. We want
all
to go.
see the light at the end of the tunnel. We all want to go back to events. We all want to see our friends eat in
So
restaurants,
badly.
walk outside again. I get it. But you don't trip over the 5-yard line when there's no reason to.
And it's not like Gen Con where it's like they have options to where if you're not comfortable with this, you can still safely, you can do it virtually. You can do it at a smaller local game store. This is all there is, where it's like you either come here and you mingle or you don't come at all. Like,
Right.
Well, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit much. So we're going to move on here to some splash damage. I certainly rant about this far more in the pre-show, but I want to know here, there's the open beta to Magic Legends is coming. This turned from what they originally kind of described as an MMO to a Diablo-esque action RPG to a Diablo-esque action RPG with 2 other friends, maximum. And when I play it, and Pleasant Kenobi has a wonderful video out right now, if you check out his channel, where he talks about, sort of where's the magic in it, and you can put us on Zendikar, and you can name a creature of Baloth, but if you aren't going to use any magic art assets, if that was not a part of the licensing program, why?
Yeah.
And if it was not a part of the licensing program and you decided to make spells that were going to play in this universe and they're spell names that don't exist in Magic, you have over 23,000 options, but you choose names that aren't in Magic. And then finally, if you don't have the art and you don't got the names, but then you do use the names and you give it a different mana cost when mana costs don't even really mean that much in the game itself. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Between that and the recently announced Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, I don't understand something's being lost in translation between the IPs that they own and the games that they end up using them in.
This actually touches a little bit about, and we don't have it listed here, but the professor's video on Universes Beyond. And he had a couple of fantastic points. 2 things. One, which is, years ago, they said, why don't you just put Zeus in the Theros set? And they go, well, we need Magic's version of it. Instead of now we're just putting Lord of the Rings in Magic. And then the other was, if this is such a good idea, if this is the way that, game franchises should be going, why does Warhammer not have Lord of the Rings? Why does Warhammer not have a licensed property in their game?
Agreed.
They license out their properties. They don't license in their properties. And that point alone just shook me to my core of like, man, this is going to probably be seen as a terrible decision 10 years from now of like, you muddied the waters so hard in a way that you can see Games Workshop, certainly I can imagine they were offered that, right? Have an army that's based in real life, or have an army that's based in this other fantasy, sci-fi, whatever. Have a Battlestar Galactica Warhammer army or something. But they're not gonna, because that's their world and they protect that stuff as much as humanly possible. So, good or bad, it was really eye-opening to me to put it in that perspective to say, if this is such a killer idea, why isn't every other game doing it? That's hard to answer.
I don't know. I'm a little bummed about Legends, though, because as somebody who came from World of Warcraft, when they said it's going to be an MMO, that was speaking directly to me of, oh, sweet. I played World of Warcraft, I played Aeon, I tried Final Fantasy 14, I played all the Final Fantasy games growing up, and so that was my bread and butter. And so, to watch it go from something that was very clearly an MMO to, well, now it's more of like a Diablo kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with Diablo. I've played Diablo, I've enjoyed Diablo, but it's just such a radical departure from where it started. I'm just curious.
If I want to play Diablo, I'm going to play Diablo.
You can play Diablo, yeah. Like it's just such a shift,
right? And may I humbly suggest Grim Dawn is the best Diablo clone I've ever played. Grim Dawn is amazing. It's terrific with your friends. Has an amazing system of upgrading and changing, which kind of having dual types. Of being a necromancer and someone who deals with nature magic or whatever.
I mean,
it's
awesome.
awesome.
Be a necromancer. Like,
hey, you can have an army of zombies. That's what you can do.
Any game that I can have an army of zombies, I'm all for it.
You will love it. All right. So let's go ahead and move on here to the finisher and do some picks for the giveaway. Thanks and subs. A little bit of a slow news week this week, but next week we should be cooking with gas because it's officially preview season gets started for Strixhaven.
Just think about how slow the news week would have been on Wednesday.
That's
Just
true.
think how little we would have had.
We wouldn't even have the Innistrad sets to talk about now, would we? Or discussed how silly Modern Horizons 2 is going to be because they just threatened us.
3 things to talk about.
Ali Antrazi's rating us with 332 people.
Oh,
Thank you
my
so
God.
much.
Oh.
Beautiful man.
You beautiful man rating us at the end of our show. Thank you.
It's cool. You know what? For those who have not seen us before, hi, how you doing? We're a news show. We usually do Wednesday nights. We're doing Thursday nights now to sync up.
Now it's Thursdays.
So Thursdays, 11 o'clock Eastern. If you want to hang out, we're here to talk about Magic news.
Okay, there's somebody in the chat. I assume you came from Ali's stream. Wayne Gretzky. That is.
Wayne Gretzky. That is fantastic. Right up Aaron's alley, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Can't not up Aaron's alley during the regular show.
Whoa. Look, you know what? We're going to give him one more because we got a sweet rate in. So let's give him one more. Let's back up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about Splash Damage, in particular, the Sonic the Card game.
Oh my
Sonic
goodness.
the Card game is coming in 2021.
Okay.
Now,
Who's making it?
Is this a collectible card game? I'm not. No, this is Steam Forged Games, apparently, which is a big board game publisher.
Okay.
Promised to be a competitive racing game in which you'll collect power-ups and rings to win.
Cool.
Interesting.
All right. I'm on board with that. I mean, Sonic, the movie with Jim Carrey came out
silly
last
fun.
year, 2 years ago. It was fine. They're making a sequel. Sonic is a popular IP
are
that's been
they?
around
Okay.
forever.
They are.
Yep. And you know, hopefully it'll survive longer than most card games do, which is about 2 years.
Yeah.
I would love for it to be a thing.
The way that it's discussed and the publisher, as I know them, this definitely feels like a contained experience where you will be able to sort of just, play the game as they have described it and, presented it to you, and then you move on. Likely to skew towards a younger audience who is familiar with Sonic.
It's fast family fun you will race through again and again.
Great.
Right.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so let's hope they knock it out of the park.
Collect rings? I'm on board. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
And we officially turn the corner to the finisher and also finishing using our brand new software for the first time ever.
Hey.
I'm excited.
But the problem is we usually don't know there's a problem until after. Like, we'll get done with the pre-show. We'll be like, oh man, this has been a really great pre-show. We were all so candid and so raw. And then Evan will be like, I don't know where it went. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, and then it'll just be down the tubes. We don't know.
You think I would just talk to Evan and Aaron without a camera rolling? Is that, you think that I do this for?
Like,
think he rolls out of bed?
I wouldn't talk to these people unless you paid me. Wait, hold on.
Wait a second.
That's not what I...
Dang it.
Wow.
All
Save me,
right.
Wayne Gretzky.
Goodness.
You know I'm kidding.
Yes. All right. Turn the corner to the finisher. Today's show is the first we've done in our new Thursday time slot, and already it's paying dividends. But tell me, what unintended consequences will time-shifting Magic Mics have on the future, Ruben?
With Magic Mics no longer on Wednesdays, the nicknames for the day of the week have already changed. Because Evan Irwin is no longer on laptops and streaming devices midweek, so we can't rightfully call it Hump Day without Mr. Five Kids, now can we?
I mean, Mr. Worldwide over here. Aaron?
The switch to Thursdays is not only good for the Magic news getting to you quicker, it also lets me participate in my favorite Wednesday night Magic activity, the EDH Recast. Because while I love you guys, when push comes to shove, I just love Muldrotha more.
We see how it is.
I will be on their show next Wednesday, so come hang out with me. It should be fun.
Perfect.
There you go. Well, since Magic Mics moved to correspond to the Magic news cycle, the Magic Mics news cycle will shift as well. YouTube releases, top 10 recordings, and even Ruben's sleep schedule will experience 24-hour jet lag. So it should come as no surprise that along with the Airdate swap and other long overdue changes coming, from now on, no more pie bets, only cake bets from here on out.
Cake bets.
Team
That's
Cake.
Right.
Team Cake for real. And I have gotten confirmation from our editor. We'll be publishing our top 10s on Tuesday mornings from here on out. So top 10 Tuesday mornings. You'll get the Magic Mics proper on Friday mornings if you're listening to the podcast or you're checking it out on Cool Stuff. And that is that. So that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me, and stay safe, everybody. We're almost there.
That's right. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you. I'm ready to be caked up.
You live in California, though, so you can get that cake by the ocean.
Hey.
It's true. Get that ocean cake.
They wrote a whole song about that. All right, move on here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsors, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsors, CardHoarder.com, and our newest sponsor, Alter Sleeves. Get yours at altersleeves.com/magicmics. My co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bressler, you guys for watching and listening. Hope you support us at patreon.com/magicmics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe, do everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.